Whew, the last few days have been a lot, like a lot. How are y'all holding in there? It has been like a rocket ride on my end. Sometimes I get to where I'm just absolutely coming out of my skin. I don't feel like I can live in circumstances that are just so infuriating to me. It's beyond frustration of my manifesting generatorness. It's like, just why do these things need to exist? And so if you're in our functional human design community, you will have noticed that I'm going on this road trip, and there have been some challenges within my family, and I've always wanted to live out loud, like be just open with my story. And I've done it periodically throughout my entire life, like since social media was like a thing. And it's like, that is just who I am. But I was really criticized in it. And it was like, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any money. Why are you doing it? Like, it's too much, or it's not enough, or it needs to be done this way. And I've heard that for like the last 16 years. And yet it is exactly what my design is. Like, my design is to live out loud and just be the example. And yet, and it's not an example of anything other than just how to live in the moment and make choices for yourself and choose yourself. And it's just who I naturally am. And I could not see that who I naturally was and wanted to be was just so criticized by my ex-husband. And because it's different. It's a different life, and that's okay, but it's me. And I'm important, and I matter, and what I want to do with my life matters. And some people paint, and other people like do dance and all types of different expression. And for me, my expression is just sharing the journey and creating content. Like, this channel I revitalized because I was vlogging like 13 years ago because I loved it. It was what I wanted to do with my life. And that's so weird because it's not content creation, it's not affiliate marketing, it's not any of these things. And it doesn't really even have a point other than it makes me feel better. And I just want to do some things for me. And so this is for me, being just me. And I love that about me. And it feels good to reclaim it. So there had been some challenges at home where we've gone through some really, really hard things in the last 10 years, really. When our youngest son was paralyzed, it just changed everything in our family. And everything became about how to save his life. And that's really important. And it was really hard on some of the other kids, and it was really difficult with our finances. And like, it was just so difficult. And then he lived, which is so like amazing and shocking because he wasn't supposed to, and he didn't look like he was going to. And yet he pulled through, and that is in his chart. And now he's like a 14-year-old, like, bro boy, like, he's tough. And it's awesome to see. And yet there's all of these emotional like ramifications of going through like really intense poverty. And then there was a hurricane, and then the divorce between their dad and I that like neither of us wanted, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not change. And he is changing, and he is healing, and he is doing it, but it's very slow and painful. And it's been 5 years of confronting his issues, him making changes for a few weeks, and then sliding right back into it. And we've done therapy, like human design, like all of it. It's just in his design. And he will learn to make better choices, like he will. But the choices he makes currently cause harm to myself and the kids. And because of that, now that we've been in this big, nice house for like 2 years, everybody just hides. And it's like, we all just try to avoid him. And that's so hard because all of us love him, but it's like there's just an energy that's uncomfortable. And that's part of how manifestors are. Like, that bubble is really difficult to work with if there has been a lot of abuse in a person's childhood. And that's like exactly what happened to him. And then he just kind of got stuck in these ruts because like it got worse. The first 7 years of our relationship were quite good. But it's been 22 years and it's been really hard. And we had all the kids by then. And so it's like resolving these issues when you're going through such hard things, it just has been impossible until the last 5 years. And I tried to, at every time I start speaking intuitively, my forehead itches like crazy. I tried like crazy to be just like normal, like be able to just leave and it be like a normal divorce. And there has been nothing normal about this because of my magnetism. He's just attracted to me. And I've had lots of like stalkers and weird things happen. So it's like, it's just part of my design that I'm super magnetic. And then people stick to me. And it's like, how does someone become an addiction like that? Like, it's like me. I'm the problem. It's me. It's my manifesting generatorness that people just stick to. And I don't have any of the circuitry of defense. And I have learned, oh my gosh, I have learned boundaries and communication and like how to stand up for myself and how to say no and how to, never been much of a people pleaser, but, there is a lot of compliance that is just bred into being a white woman. Like, that's kind of the nature of who we are, is this compliance. And learning to break that within like the patriarchy and understanding misogyny and religion. And there's just so much to undo that I've been working on for 30 years. And like, he knows all of it in his head. He just doesn't apply it in his daily life. And that's what makes it so challenging, is he's so beautiful on the outside, but it's like not applicable. And you know how sometimes when you meet people, like you meet them online and you're like BFFs, and then you meet them in real life and they're like nothing like what you thought? It feels kind of like that sometimes. And it's like, love is hard, family is hard. And as I've been playing with my bot and really studying human design for the last 5 years, I knew so many of my hiccups were in the circuitry of my 37 and 40, which connects my heart and solar plexus. And they're really prominent in my chart. They're my subconscious sun and earth, the 3740. And it's all about bargains, the bargains and the deals that we make in relationship for resources for our community. And it's interesting because that circuitry has also been the background current of the background like frequency of the planet for the last 400 years. And that is actually shifting in early 2027. So that circuitry is going away. And it makes so much sense as to why divorce is skyrocketing and like business is changing and governments are collapsing. Like, all of these things make sense when you realize that the circuitry for the last 400 years has been about bargains and deals. I do this for you, you do this for me. And that has given us amazing infrastructure and an amazing world and planet to live on, where we have houses and running water and like the ability to do things that we've never been able to do before in history, like truly have happiness, because prior we just had survival. And as I've really looked at my chart, it was my 3740 that I was so radically out of alignment with. And it's because I had made good deals, but what happens when the other person doesn't uphold the good deal? And we can see this in a lot of governments right now, where it's like, oh, there's a deal with the government and the citizens, and when the government isn't upholding the decisions and respecting the people, then crazy things happen. That. And so it's happening not just in ourselves and our personal lives, it's happening on a global front. And it's really quite profound to see it happening, and then a little bit shocking because that's going to be like more common. We're going to see more of that because it's really just begun, or it's been beginning for, is that a thing? Yeah. Where our relationships are falling apart, our structures are falling apart, because we're moving into a time of more individuality and much more tribal. So like smaller communities where we look out for each other in different ways. And I think that's what so many people have been, like billions of people have been praying for, is like, grant us change on this planet, be the change you wish to see in the world. And yet when change happens, it's normally pretty ugly. And yet we don't need to be scared, because that's the beauty of change, is that it normally the outcome is so much better on the other side. And so that is pretty super exciting. So we just went through some changes in we went through some changes in our household, and I'm doing this 3-month trip. Although it may look a little different, I may go and come back more because I'm not sure what's going on with Reed. But as we've had these family meetings, like the kids were able to just say, like, we love you, we care for you, and you make us really uncomfortable. And they've never been able to say that to their dad until yesterday. And suddenly it makes a lot of things make sense, because my intention was to really break generational cycles. And that's one of my highest values in having kids. I didn't want to have kids and then just keep the same cycles going. So in breaking generational cycles, it meant not just leaving him and getting away, because as I did that, I realized that the cycles were still in the kids. And I couldn't break them all by myself, or these beliefs by myself. And one of the things that came out was just this hyper control, that it was like so controlling over how I looked and how I behave. And it's interesting because I have worked really hard to be as unattractive as possible for the last like 2 to 3 years. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, I just did not want his affection or his connection or his touch. I just wanted to fix the problem of our family and be able to connect and help our kids be better thems, be better versions of them. But it was, I couldn't reach them without him. And so he has played a huge pivotal role in the healing of our family and breaking the cycles, even though he's still struggling to break the cycles himself. And it's beautiful, and it's heartbreaking, and it's emotional, and it's up and it's down. And I feel like our waves, where they were 5 years ago really big, now they're much smaller. And so like our whole family, it's like there's waves, but it's not as dramatic. And it's so much easier to manage and go through. And the conversations, I'm blown away at the conversations and the wisdom that our children have been able to have and share. Like, they've always been incredibly wise, and like they've been studying human nature and psychology and like people and humans and trauma their entire lives, because that's been my obsession. And so it's just so profound to see them standing in the uniqueness of their own designs and just barely touching it. They're just, because I don't push, because if I push, then it gets bad and we're all rebellious. And so I don't push, but they're like being more and more excited, and they go through phases. And the conversations that we've had over the last 2 days, 3 days, have just been like, wow. And so, thank you for letting me rant. If you're out there and you're in an icky, fuzzy situation with relationships and things aren't right, you're not alone. It's okay. In fact, I think there's probably going to be billions of us over the next few years. And you're right where you need to be. You're never behind. You're going at the speed that is perfect for you, and any added pressure or stress in your need to do something, like that's just not even, it's just the world and the programming. Just take care of you, because you're worth it, and you matter, and your speed and your timing and your ease and your peace and your grace and your love for yourself, that matters. Okay. I love you tons. And if you're in functional human design, hi, it's good to see you. I love you. I'm glad you're here. And if you're not in functional human design, come join us, because it's a fun place to learn and grow more about you together. I love you. Bye.